Hello and welcome. So I recently watched the pilot for Joss Whedon's new show, The Nevers. If you're unfamiliar, Joss Whedon was the man behind Buffy, Angel, Firefly, some of the Avengers movies, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, and the absolute embarrassment that was Justice League, among many others. While this is Joss's brainchild, the accusations of his inappropriate behavior on set over the years began to catch up with him, and he eventually stepped away from this project after around episode 5 or 6 of season 1, so that's just a bit of background. The Nevers is a Victorian science fiction fantasy drama that falls into the subgenre of SteamPunk. Think of movies like Hugo, Sherlock Holmes, The Golden Compass, and that show that nobody watched, Carnival Row. Basically, it's a retro-futuristic subgenre of science fiction that incorporates technology and aesthetic designs inspired by 19th century industrial steam-powered machinery. Set in London in the 1890s, this tells the story of a mysterious event in 1896 that takes place where we see this unidentifiable object in the sky and lights that begin to fall and almost seep into the skin of mostly women, leaving them with certain powers. Our protagonist Amalia has the ability to see into the future, and she has some excellent fighting skills, and her companion Penance is an inventor. Her power allows her to direct electricity. Her workshop and some of her inventions are actually some of the coolest parts of the show so far. The pair help run an orphanage, they call it, for the touched, and this is what they call the mostly girls and women who got powers during the mysterious event, and because of it are now ostracized from society. So they both go to where the girls need help, rescue them, and bring them into the orphanage to help them, teach them, and ensure their safety. This home is funded by the philanthropist Lavinia Bidlow, and it's run as a charity. So we see Amalia and Penance's mission in the first episode. The parents of a girl named Myrtle are convinced that this little girl is somehow possessed by the devil, but it turns out that she just speaks Chinese and Turkish now. That is somehow her power, but she still understands English. So while they're at the house, men come by and try to kidnap Myrtle, leading to a fight, and all three have to flee. So we know now that the touched are in some kind of danger by some kind of external threat, and this is over and above the abuse that they have to endure from their families and not being accepted in society. We also get to see how the powerful men / ruling class politicians talk about the touched behind closed doors. Obviously, this poses another threat to the touched because we learn that, quote, no man of stature was given any power, and therein lies the problem. If women have this power, they might be able then to advocate for other marginalized groups like immigrants and so-called deviants, and they can't have that kind of social and political upset. As they say, ambition was never meant for women. We do see that one man who was touched, Dr. Horatio Cousins, works at the orphanage as their resident physician, and there seems to be something going on possibly between him and Amalia. We also find out about Melody, a woman who seems to be indiscriminately killing people and kidnapping the touched. Amalia and Penance try to stop her from kidnapping a touched girl, Mary, who I think is going to have a very big role in this, but Melody manages to escape with her. Anyway, a lot more happens, but I gotta say, it was all just rather boring. I'll provide a Sparks Notes version anyway. We have another character called the Beggar King, and he's the local thug that the women pay for protection and for leads on any potential candidates who come to the house. He also might be double-crossing them and selling that same information on the girls to someone else. Then there's the doctor who is doing experiments on the untouched. He was the one of the people who sent for Myrtle to be kidnapped. Then we have these two guys, Augustus Bidlow, who is Lavinia Bidlow's brother, and then Hugo Swan, the Don Juan type of the town, who's often drinking and partying, taking drugs, sleeping with people. He owns a sex club, and he also has some kind of connection to Mary, the kidnapped untouched. So the set and the costumes were extremely impressive. The premise of the show is a fun one too. We have Amalia and Penance going around trying to rescue girls, and they get into these risky but fun adventures. It should work, but to quote 10 Things I Hate About You, I was just whelmed. I am looking forward to seeing the second half of the show just to see how it might change when there's a new person at the helm. I guess there might be some potential there, but there are just so many boring bits that I lost my attention quite a lot. Will I keep watching the show? Yes, I'll see it right through to the end, because you never know. Perhaps the pilot is just a little rough and it'll get better. I might even do a video on the finale just to see if it does get any better, but unless you're really curious about the show, there's no rush to see it. I do really want to like the show though, so I'm not giving up on it. Anyway, it's a rather short one for today. If you like this kind of content, books, movies, TV shows, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.